Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to SafeDefend Live. I'm with the founder, Jeff Green. And, we were talking about music, and The Sounds of Summer is one of his favorite songs, I think, maybe. Um,
Uh,
Probably not.
yeah,
Beach Boys, like the Beach Boys.
I do. I love the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys are
Absolutely.
great. Yeah. Big fan. Used to listen to it all the time, driving around in high school, having a good time.
I like the
But
Ramones. They're kind of the punk version of the Beach Boys. So yeah, you
the
got that.
Ramones, yeah, not bad. Not
Yeah,
bad.
this
But we're
solo.
going to talk, the kids, there's graduations going on right now, and families are celebrating, and it's a great time.
Right.
But it's also a great time to talk about what does your summer look like, and what are you doing? And Jeff has some special insight, but it's also another time to think about how can I help my schools be more secure for the next school
Yeah.
season, right?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that is on a lot of people's minds, especially if you've got that senior in high school, even eighth grade ceremonies now become a lot bigger, and of course college as well. We'll be going to a KU graduation this weekend, and it's those are a massive amount of people, typically in a small amount of space where you can't necessarily move freely or well. As you're approaching these, just common sense really needs to kick in. Ideally try to sit on an aisle as close as you can. Just be paying attention to your surroundings. We talk so much about situational awareness, but I just don't feel like we can talk about that enough. It really comes down to you're going to be responsible for recognizing if something's out of whack or not normal, and being able to respond to it, and being one of the first to be able to respond to it, to get yourself to safety, get your family to safety. Again, we say over and over, we don't want everybody to go into these in a fearful mode, thinking something bad's going to happen. We just want you to be prepared and just be looking at, hey, if I'm in a stadium, and this applies, football season, baseball season, anytime you're in the stands, moving is going to be difficult if something really happens. You run multiple risks of not only somebody's wanting to do harm, but the stampede, everybody trying to get out of that environment. Putting yourself in the best position to get yourself to safety as quickly as possible is going to make a huge difference if, God forbid, something does happen. So, it really comes down to summer is not a time to let your guard down. It's just a time to, keep practicing those skills in those environments where where things are different than you might normally see the rest of the year.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Doc Becky and I talked about this, I mean, more in depth on the scientific side. But on the personal side, this is really about taking care of your family,
Absolutely.
and just being aware, and not being scared, but being aware, and taking picking the right seat, right?
Right.
Um, a lot of times
That's something that makes all the difference. Yeah.
a lot of times we're going to be right in the middle of everything. In today's world, I don't know that I want to be on the front row in the middle,
Right.
right? I don't know if that's a smart decision. But on the second part of this, now that the teachers are getting out of school and things are going to slow down for our staff, now is the time to go talk to your administration about what does a school security plan look like. I mean,
Oh,
is the school prepared for an event? And they're gonna say, oh yeah, we're prepared. But I want to caution you something if you're a parent. Their idea of prepared is it's not going to happen to me, and
right.
what we have is good enough.
Right.
And I'm going to talk about something we talked about before, but my community spent $30 million on football stadiums a few years ago.
Right.
Okay. Another community in Oklahoma is going to do a $20 million upgrade to their current football stadium, but they have very weak school security. They do have officers on campus, but they don't really have any way to immediately notify or get other officers there in a hurry that's effective. So I want you to think about this summer when you're working through this. Football stadiums are awesome, and I played football my whole life, so I appreciate you want to have the best weight room, the best stadium, and everything else. But here's the but I have. You're not going to really care about that stadium if somebody comes in your school and injures or hurts or kills your child.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the last thing on your mind. And if you're an administrator listening to this right now, from me, Dave, a parent and a citizen, are you ready? Are you ready to have that conversation with the parents in your community if something does happen? or when something happens in your community.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still see this, that, like you mentioned, that I don't feel like it's going to happen here. We just had a small rural community in Kansas have a kid bring a gun. They ended up locking down their school district, put all the kids in the cafeteria while they investigated. That's their attempt to do something, but that is not best practice in any capacity. That is just not making sense of the situation and putting people in a safe situation. So we still see that there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of people think they know what's best, but really they don't.
Yep.
And you'd think by now that schools would be flooded with good information. Sadly, they're flooded with bad information, probably more than good information. And so, like you mentioned, this is a time, and right now we are as busy as we've been in months, because this is when not only are they wrapping up school, but they're really wanting to start the school year off coming up this fall in the best position they can be. So this is a perfect time. Let your administrators get done with the graduation ceremonies. Let them get done with that end of school stuff. But we see this as one of our busiest times in the year, is because once that gets wrapped up, those that want to make sure that they're doing the best that they can for their kids and their school community are really pushing hard. And so it's a great time to get in there and just start having those conversations, saying, hey, what are you doing? When I send my kid to school, how can I be assured that they're going to be in the best position to get home every night? Same thing for the teachers. Those teachers want to get home to their families every night, and they want to go to work knowing that they're in a safe of an environment as they can be. So start having those conversations. SafeDefend is, we work with so many clients that, and there's times that they don't go with us, but we still help them navigate some of the challenges of school safety, because that's what we do. We're not only about putting SafeDefend in schools, which honestly, that's, we know is the best solution that's out there. But we also want schools to get safer, even if it's incrementally. And we're going to help along those lines to do that.
Yeah, with that, is just so as parents and teachers out there, we can offer you training that will give you best practices. It will help you, even
Absolutely.
if you don't want to purchase a system. We get that. We understand the budget constraints in today's world, but we also know if you're building a $20 million stadium, do you really have budget constraints?
Right.
I mean, let's have the honest discussion, and let's be honest with each other, right?
Right.
So, if you need training or you want to know best practice, reach out to us. If you want us to assess your school to help your students be safer, reach out to us. If you just want to talk about what it looks like as a parent, call us. We will give you information. We will educate you. We'll help you be informed. So when you approach your leaders, you know the right questions to ask, because all we care about at the end of the day is that your kids and your family members get home safe to you after
100%.
School every day. That's all we care about.
100%.
So
yeah. And interestingly enough, the money's always there when, based on whatever the priority is. So when safety becomes a priority, that's when our customers are stepping up and putting the system in, and they become lifelong SafeDefend customers. When the new football stadium is a priority, they find the money, and the new football stadium gets built. So it just really comes down to what are you prioritizing in your district, and safety should be number one, but it's not always.
Nope, that's a fact, Jack. I mean, Jeff. Sorry, you're not Jack. That's a fact, Jeff. So with that, SafeDefend Live. Have a great weekend, Dave and Jeff, the founder. We are out of here.
Have a great weekend. Take care.